Hi, I'm CF3 Loyal, still staying at home every other Saturday, bringing you the quintessential Rangers vlog. It is here, and it is wonderful. And no, I'm not talking about my new Rangers home top, I am indeed talking about not one, but two for Tuesday signings. A lot has happened since my last Rangers vlog. Well, a lot can happen at a big club like Rangers. Certainly a lot bigger than, say, Bournemouth. I think the less said about Jamie O'Hara's comments, the better. But let's start with the weekend where we kicked off our campaign for 55 against Aberdeen. In my last video, I predicted a 3-0 score. Well, I guessed the clean sheet correctly. I guessed that Ryan Kent would have a big important part to play for the team and get a goal. But yeah, I was way off the mark with the score prediction. It wasn't a pretty game. But at this stage of the season and going up to a tough place like Pittodrie, the most important thing is the 3 points. And as we came back down to Glasgow, I'm sure the players, management and certainly myself are very happy to have done so and kick the season off with a win at a tough place like Pittodrie. Certainly tougher than, say, a home game against Hamilton Accies. Now on to Monday. Monday seen the launch of our new Rangers kit, and I can confirm that it is an absolutely stunning home top. Castor and Rangers did recommend sizing up for a looser fit, and I also can confirm that would be recommended. Yes, I went for the size that I normally go for, and it's a little bit snug. Yeah, I forgot about lockdown, eating a lot of food, not playing a lot of football. It is a bit tight on me, but I can confirm it is a beautiful top. We then go into Tuesday, and as I said already, not one but two new signings. And I've got to say, it's very exciting times. They're two real quality additions to the squad, and that's what we've all been talking about in the videos and on social media. The need to improve the squad with real quality. If you look at Kemar Roofe, first of all, he's a player that we've probably been linked with and chased for 12 to 18 months. A player that had a really successful period at Leeds before gaining his €7 million move over to Anderlecht in Belgium, where it didn't really work out for him, largely because of injury, which has to be a little bit of a concern. But if we look at the positives, Kemar Roofe is someone who is an exciting signing. He's someone that can play across the entire front three. He's very different to the players that we already have in the squad, like Alfredo Morelos. We'll come on to him later. And Jermaine Defoe. And that's something that I've personally said in my previous videos, that with the new additions coming in that final third, they had to be different to what we've already got, so that you're not just replacing like for like in the games where you're struggling to break down defences. Kemar Roofe is an exciting signing for us. Genuinely, really chuffed with Kemar Roofe. Hopefully he can have a similar impact to the last striker that I remember signing from Leeds, Rodney Wallace. And then we come on to Cedric Itten. Now, for me, Kemar Roofe was our number one target. It has been for 12 to 18 months. And I think we've got to really praise Ross Wilson for getting his man. But for me, Cedric Itten is probably not a player that we had as a number one transfer target at the point of when we signed him. That was possibly someone like Josh Maya that I've spoken about previously from Bordeaux. But there's links and talk that he was demanding too much wages. But I think where we've got to really praise Ross Wilson is how fast, how quickly and efficiently he has moved on to his next target. And also the fact that this was released by the club with not a sniff in the media. Just what we like to see. But like I said about Kemar Roofe, Cedric Itten is something very different to what we've already got. He is a goal scorer, he is a penalty box striker. He is somebody who's good with his feet but also good in the air. And I think what we'll see is that in the games where teams are sitting deep or struggling to break them down, that's a perfect opportunity on that pitch to be that fox in the box, so to speak. But I think because of how different Roofe and Itten are, and even how different they are to Defoe and Morelos. And I will say Morelos because although he is linked with another move again, and he will always be speculated with a move, I could see particularly Roofe and Morelos playing in the same team. Roofe is someone who can play across that front three, as I've said, very much as cover for Hadji and Kent, as competition for Hadji and Kent, so I could see him playing in one of the wide areas. He has been known to be playing behind the striker as well, so he could play behind a Morelos, for example, and that allows us to change our formation as well as play different players in that team, and that gives great options to Steven Gerrard, and it means that we will be able to mix it up, which is something that we struggled to do in the games that we were struggling to break teams down last season. So I am genuinely really chuffed with the new signings. We then go into Wednesday. Nothing happened on Wednesday. Wednesday was a pretty disappointing day. In fact, it poured down all day in Glasgow. It was, one to forget. And we then come into Thursday, and Thursday saw the return leg, the much delayed and awaited return leg in the Europa League last 16 against Bayer Leverkusen. It's been 395 days since Rangers opened our Europa League campaign against St Joseph's, and what a 395 days it's been. It's been an absolutely incredible Europa League journey, but it ended tonight against Bayer Leverkusen. We've been defeated 1-0 and knocked out of Europe for 3 weeks at least. I could sit here and be very critical of tonight's performance. It wasn't vintage. A number of players were very poor. Credit where credit's due. Goldson and Hollander were absolutely excellent at the back, and McGregor made a few good saves as well. But a number of players weren't at it. The goal, I've praised Tav, mate. Morelos, I've given Morelos praise on my channel amongst my mates for the fact that he's still willing to play for us, despite having, admittedly from Steven Gerrard's perspective, his head turned by the speculation. It wasn't good enough tonight. Our three midfielders, not good enough tonight. It was not a good performance, and I could sit here and I could be very, very critical, but I think we've got to sit back and reflect. 2 years ago, we didn't get past the first qualifying round against a bunch of amateurs, minnows, part-timers, whatever you want to call them, from Luxembourg. Fast forward 2 years, and we're in the last 16. We've just been knocked out by a very, very, very good Bayer Leverkusen side. Steven Gerrard said itself, levels. They were very classy tonight. They're far superior to us. They've got players in their team that are linked with moves to the English Premiership for £90 million. I mean, they're a very, very good side. And as much as I could be critical of our performance tonight, I think we've got to be realistic and actually really, really praise the club and their players for our run in Europe. From a fan's perspective, it's been a great run. I've really enjoyed this season's Europa League run, particularly Braga in that home game at Ibrox. The Hadji moments, the Aribo goal, that will live with me forever. Delighted with our Europa League run, and I think we've all got to just sit here and recognise that we've been beaten by a better team and we've had a very good journey. And that journey's good not only for us as supporters to enjoy, but it's also good for the money. I don't think we'd be able to afford guys like Yanis Hadji, Kemar Roof and Cedric Itten this year if it wasn't for the Europa League campaign. But I also don't think we'd be able to attract players of that level had it not been for the prestige and the reputation that we've gained for our success, not just this season, but also last. So it's been a very successful Europa League campaign for me. But Steven Gerrard will not be judged at the end of his tenure at Rangers on his success in Europe and his runs in Europe. He will be judged on whether he wins a league or not. And getting knocked out of Europe today means that we can now shift our focus entirely on the league, at least until the 17th of September when we join the Europa League in the second qualifying round. Starting with St Mirren on Sunday, it's an opportunity for the players to bounce back immediately after Bayer Leverkusen, but it's an opportunity to really channel our focus on where it matters, and that's winning title number 55. I spoke in my last video about it is our priority, it is our bread and butter, it's what we as supporters all want, it's what we're craving for. But one of the things I forgot to mention, and I really want to mention it tonight, is this is an opportunity for this current Rangers team to go down as legends. And I don't over exaggerate, I'm not saying that loosely. You know, I class Brian Laudrup and Ali McCoist and George Alberts as legends in my eyes. They are my heroes. But this is an opportunity for these players to get Rangers back to where we truly belong, and that's the top of Scottish football and the quintessential British football club. We have been knocked down, beaten, scoffed, laughed at, whatever, from all the media, fellow Scottish football supporters, professional clubs. This is an opportunity for us to go back to exactly where we belong, and that's the top of Scottish football. If we do win the league, and I think the signings that we are making are certainly going in the right direction, these players can go down in history as a team that fought back from the darkest period in our football club's history to exactly where we belong, and that's the top of Scottish football. So I hope they all recognise that challenge that's in front of them. This isn't about stopping 10 in a row. There is no 10 in a row. They didn't win 10 in a row. This is about us winning 55. And for me, it started against Aberdeen with a positive result, the victory in the opening game of the season, and it now moves to St Mirren on Sunday, and then it moves on to the next game and the next game, and we need to be aiming for maximum points by the 17th of September when we go into Europe and have alternative competitions to channel our focus into, and we've obviously got the international break in that period as well. So where next? Well, obviously I've just spoken about our need to focus entirely on the league campaign, but I think it's evident we still need new players. Now, the first thing that I need to say is we still need to sign a central midfield player. I said it in my last video, I've said it in my previous videos, we need a central midfield player to partner Ryan Jack. It was very evident against Aberdeen. Kamara and Jack are too defensive. They pass the ball sideways, it's too passive. It didn't work against Aberdeen, and it certainly will not work against teams that sit deep against us at Ibrox. We then had Bayer Leverkusen tonight, we had Stephen Davis partnering Ryan Jack. That didn't work either. In fact, I've seen on social media tonight that some people are writing Stephen Davis off. Listen, Stephen Davis is the same age as me. I'm not going to write him off. It was a very poor performance, but he was not alone. He is just returning from injury. I'm hoping it's an isolated game and he picks himself up and gets some game time, gets his momentum going again. But Stephen Davis is a huge player for us in the dressing room. He's been there, he's done it, he's won medals, he's lifted the trophy, he's captained Rangers. We need guys like Stephen Davis, like Alan McGregor and even Jermaine Defoe to be in that dressing room and influencing the rest of the team and ensuring that they are all focused and motivated for the challenge ahead. But I would suspect that Stephen Davis will become a squad player and a bit part player, and it's important that we sign somebody a bit more forward thinking to partner Ryan Jack, who's maybe not as natural going forward as he is at being in that kind of deep lying role. That player that we want to bring in needs to be a box-to-box midfielder, somebody capable, as I've said, of playing that forward pass, of breaking down defences. Zungu is a name that's been mentioned all over social media and in the papers, but it's looking more likely that Zungu's not going to happen, whether it's he failed a medical, his wage demands were too high, or we weren't interested in him at all. I kind of don't believe that because of the comments from Gary McAllister after our pre-season games. But whatever it looks like Zungu's not the man to come into central midfield. And one of the things that I said earlier on about Cedric Itten is Ross Wilson's ability and his credit of moving on to our next target. For me, we need to do that for Bongani Zungu, and we need to do it quickly because, yes, we're going to St Mirren with the players hopefully still fit and sharp and motivated. But when the games are coming thick and fast and we're playing against teams that are going to sit deeper against us, we need to have a different option than Glenn Kamara and Stephen Davis to partner Ryan Jack. So hopefully we can move in the transfer market very quickly for a central midfielder and get them in. Hopefully they can have a similar impact as Leon Balogun did against Aberdeen. Secondly, let's go on to Alfredo Morelos. Now, Steven Gerrard was asked a question about will Alfredo Morelos still be a Rangers player by the time that we play against St Mirren at Ibrox, and he couldn't answer it, so I can't answer it either. But Gerrard admitted that his head has been turned by the speculation. I think that's only natural for a young player and a player motivated to play at a higher league. in a player who clearly has ambitions of earning more money to continue to give back to his community in Colombia. But I think and it's something I've said in my previous video about Morelos, if a club comes in and matches our valuation for our best player, then we will accept it. But if we do accept a bid for Alfredo Morelos, we might need to bring somebody else in. Now, I said previously that Kemar Roofe would be somebody that can play across that front three, and that offers great versatility, great competition for places. But if he comes in as a recognised number 9, if Hadji and Kent aren't having great games, I'm not sure that bringing Nita on and then moving Roofe aside into one of the wider positions, or moving him back, or moving formation is necessarily the answer. Sometimes you maybe want to continue with the same formation if it is working, and maybe mix it up with someone that offers something different in the same formation. And for me, that's the reason why we might not replace Alfredo Morelos with another centre forward, but I do think we will replace him with someone. Now, my prediction is we will sign another number 10, somebody capable of playing out wide, but also in the middle, in case, as I said, Hadji or Kent aren't at the races and we need to replace them, but also somebody that can really challenge those two players and Joe Aribo for a starting position, who didn't have the best of games against Bayer Leverkusen. So I think we need at least 2 new signings before we can really consider ourselves as true, genuine title contenders. And I can sit there comfortably saying, yes, I think we've got the team ready to really challenge for title number 55. But what I will say is, you just need to look at the signings we've made this year and compare them to last year, and even look at the players that have left the club this season. We have improved. There's absolutely no doubt our squad has improved. Our options in the final third have improved. That is very positive. Our midfield concerns me. Kamara and Jack won't work. Davis and Jack won't work. If it's not working for Kent, Hadji or Aribo, we don't have the options. Barker wasn't good enough tonight. Greg Stewart wasn't good enough tonight. We don't have the options to bring things on, bring the real quality players on in those positions if it's not working for us. If we want to be true title contenders and really challenge for title 55, we need to sign at least 2 new players. I'd love to sign more. We'd all love to sign more, but we don't have a bottomless pit of money. And I would see us using the money from the sale of Morelos if it does indeed happen. So, yeah, exciting times. On to St Mirren on Sunday. I'm not going to call a score prediction as I got it so wrong against Aberdeen, but it's a huge game for us. Hopefully the players bounce back with a victory. Hopefully we get the 3 points. From a fan perspective, hopefully we get to see Kemar Roofe and Cedric Itten, and hopefully they score for their own confidence, and hopefully by the time I come on with my next video, I'm absolutely buzzing around our new signings and hopefully announcing a new signing. But one of the things I would say is I have reached out to a few fellow supporters, Rangers fans, fellow Bears on Twitter, that I really respect their views, views that don't always reflect my own, ones that I think would really challenge my thinking, and ask them their thoughts on whether they would want to collaborate on videos going forward. My idea would be that as we start to complete our squad, and hopefully we do that fairly soon, that we would get into a weekly video looking back at the games that have taken place and debating on the games, what went well, what didn't go so well, and hopefully having a bit of friendly banter between fellow supporters. So if you are watching, I know a few of the guys are a wee bit hesitant right now and potentially not sure if it's something that's for them. Please do. And if you're sitting watching and you're thinking, yeah, that's something I could get on board with. 4 lads had a dream of sitting watching their football team and then basically shooting the breeze, potentially with a beer in their hands, chatting about what went well in the game. If that's something that appeals to you, please let me know in the comments, let me know on Twitter if that's something that appeals to you. I can pass that on to the guys that I've reached out to, and hopefully we can encourage them to get involved. Anyway, that's it for tonight's video. Stay safe. I am CF3 Loyal. Stay safe, stay staunch.